We're here with Frank and Mattheis with GES Events. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about with the company, so we're going to dive right into it. First, with both of you explaining for us what your position is with the company.
Yeah, hi. I'm the Director of Exhibition Operations, so I am basically in charge of the logistics, planning, and management of our traveling exhibitions.
And I'm the Manager of Exhibitions for GES Events.
Great. So for anyone watching who maybe has never heard of GES Events, although I don't know how that could be possible, you guys are the global leader. Let's be real for a minute. But for anyone who may not know, could you give us an overview of what your company does, what you guys specialize in?
Yeah, like you were saying, GES Events is a pretty large company. We do a lot of things. We do trade show activations. We do live events for brand activations. We also do, which is the side that we focus on, is the traveling exhibitions. So we have great IPs that we work with, and we have these fantastic shows that we're in charge of to travel around the world, and it's really been very exciting for us.
Nice. Let's dive into that a little deeper. Some of those traveling exhibitions, like what is that? How does that work?
So Harry Potter, for example, is a chance for fans to step into the world of the film. Just to give you a sense of scale, it's about 24 semis worth of props, costumes, set pieces from the films that we created.
From the actual film?
Yes,
like,
yes.
Pulled right
that we created into this experience in partnership with Warner Brothers, and it gives people a chance to see their favorite characters. So.
So I'm going to put Mattheis on blast for a minute. We were talking before the interview, and I found out that he has never read the Harry Potter books. I'm personally offended on behalf of all of the Harry Potter fans. But I think the fact that you're putting together this really cool experience really makes up for that. So, and
I'm going to save him because the reality is our show is really based on the films.
Sure.
So we do have very experience with the films.
Have you seen the films?
I have, absolutely, many times.
Redemption.
Many times. And I don't want to confuse myself with what's in the films versus what's in the books.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
And the key for what we do is we try to create these immersive environments. So we're taking the work that the filmmakers did, and their attention to detail, and we're bringing it to the fan, so that when the fans come into our experience, they feel like they are part of the movie. These fans are very invested in these stories, right? A lot of them grew up with it. As we know, it's a global brand. So our job is to, of course, respect the brand, respect what the filmmakers did, and bring that to the fans in a way that they're going to enjoy it, that they're going to feel part of the experience, to enhance the experience for them. And that's what we try to do.
And how do you involve all of the senses in that experience? Can you talk a little bit about that? Without we still want people to come and experience it themselves, but I'm really interested to know about the logistics of that. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we start with is we try to control everything. From the beginning, we create a black box. So our template is a dark room from where now we can bring in all our scenery, all of these artifacts and props, and display them in a way that is extremely immersive. And in fact, one of Mattheis's fortes is enhancing that immersiveness to appeal to all of the senses. So he is kind of our MacGyver, in a sense, of coming up with different ways in different areas to really enhance, because you can display something and it's kind of static. But if you can bring in the smells, the lighting effects or smoke effects, little things that are not too technical and complicated, but yet are little details that really enhance the experience for the fans, that's what really makes our shows wonderful. And Mattheis is really great at it. I'm sure he can speak to that and how he gets to that.
I love that. So what are some of those details, like, that you get really excited about, that you put, that time into?
Well, that's what it's all about, is taking people into this experience, treating it like it's a stage. You're not just viewing its production, you're in the production.
Right.
And so anything that I can do to amp that up and surprise people in ways and make them think, whoa, what was that? that's what I really love to do. And for example, in our Avatar exhibition, we have this 10-foot tall family, and they're standing around a campfire. So we wanted to have a campfire that looked like fire, that smells like fire, sounds like fire, and even has wisps of smoke coming up out of it. So I was able to work with our incredible team and come up with this fire pit that was so realistic that we actually had a fire marshal come and tell us that real fire was not allowed.
Well, you're like, no, it's okay. It's an alien fire. We're okay.
And part of the challenge too is with that is having it run for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for for millions of visitors with our shows, and it's a fun challenge.
Portable, of course, right? This is a
Exactly.
traveling experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's being taken all over the world. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of our biggest challenges is the fact that our shows are not permanent installations.
Yeah.
So everything we do has to be something that we can quickly disassemble, store, travel, and reassemble, and make it user-friendly. And at the same time, we don't want these things to go down, to break. You don't want to have an out-of-order sign on anything, right?
Sure.
So we use technology in a way that's very subtle, where it just enhances the experience, but if something were to go wrong, maybe they just don't know it was there. So it's trying to find the ways to use the technology so it doesn't interfere with the fan experience, and that's very important to us.
Each experience is a unique opportunity for people to see the show in a way that's unique to their location, and I think that's.
Yeah, and many times, the black box isn't a rectangle necessarily. So depending on the venue, you might end up with 2 floors that you have to deal with. So yes, we try to make it a black box, but we have to deal with the challenges of the venue might have columns. So how do we integrate the columns, make them disappear, or make them part of the show in a way that is creative, bring them into the scenery, make them look like a tree, for example, so that just kind of bring the building's architecture into the show, or conceal it in a way that it doesn't become obvious to the guest that, oh wait, there's a column in my way, I've got to work my way around it.
And a lot of times we're going into places that weren't meant to hold these types of exhibitions.
Yeah.
But you make it happen, huh? You make magic happen.
And I think one of the great things for us is the fact that we have these properties that we get to tour. Because we were talking about Harry Potter, the exhibition, but he mentioned the Avatar exhibition, which is a completely different property, right? And you may remember the film. It was a great film with a lot of technology. It was a beautiful film to look at, so visually stunning. So being able to replicate those environments in real life has been a lot of fun. And then, now we also have our Game of Thrones exhibition. Now, if you think of that, that's a different demographic. So what we have in that show is slightly different for a more adult audience. But again, it allows us the opportunity to bring these different effects and things into our shows in a way that appeals to all these different audiences. So it's a lot of fun.
All right, so I'm going to ask this for our viewers, but mostly for me. How can people find out more about this? How can they see it? Do they have to wait for it to come to their city, or is there a tour schedule, or how does this work?
Yeah, basically, through GES.com, that's the link to our website. In there, they can follow the different activations that we have. It's not only our exhibitions, but we do other things, and everything gets announced through GES.com. And then, yes, unfortunately, unless you're willing to travel, and we're happy to have you, our 3 shows are in Europe. Touring, and eventually they'll come back to the U.S. Harry Potter's been around for several years. It started here in the U.S. and it's gone all over the world.
It's like it's popular or something.
Exactly. So it's quite exciting. It keeps us quite busy. I think pretty much any company that's looking to engage their audience, whatever it might be, I think what we do well is immersive environments. And we can work directly with the IP owner to find what they think is best for their audience, to create the environment that they're looking for. And I think that's really what makes us different.
We're a global provider, full service provider for live events, so in a lot of different ways.
Nice. Well, that's what we're all about, live events here. Exactly. Frank and Mattheis, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.